Okay. All right, Maureen, we are live. So welcome everybody to this very live special with Maureen and Jason at MTN Matchmaking. And today's a huge show because Maureen, you have officially termed a new word or a new key phrase within the entire matchmaking, dating, single scene. So this is going to be big today. First, I want to remind everybody that because summer is over, we now have fall. So fall is, however, here, and we do have a big event coming up on September 22nd, which is the first day of fall, and that is the 15th annual Over 50 Fair. So, Maureen, you're hosting the Love Lounge there, correct?
The dating lounge.
Correct.
And I'm also doing my annual seminar that I do on how to improve your love and sex life after 50.
All right, so this event is, again, Sunday, September 22nd. It's from 10 to 4:30 p.m. I know
in
we
the
have
Hilton in Huntington.
Yep. So I know we have information on that, again, on the Facebook page, on our own blog, the website, mtnmatchmaking.com. So, of course, this is the big reminder to hit that like button, subscribe for more dating advice, information, and, of course, events that are coming to you on Long Island and Myrtle Beach, which is exactly where Maureen is right now. So, again, thanks for joining us.
So,
hit us with the big news.
Okay, so doing this for 20-something years and owning my own business for 20 years, we matchmakers usually find out trends, good and bad trends, quicker than most people because people only know what's happening to them in their own love life. And if things go wrong, many of them just flee and they just leave. You probably should, especially after you hear this and what's been going on out there. But if you don't flee, and if you're the type of person who is a kind, loving person who wants to stay, who wants to fix that person, who thinks, oh, he loves me, he's so sweet, he's so nice, he can't do anything wrong. And if you're constantly having to stick up for your guy, this could certainly be red flags to what is going on out there. We're going to talk about it, talk about the symptoms of it, and talk about how to prevent finding someone with this. Okay, so we all know what two-timers are. Okay,
we don't. Tell us, what is a two-timer?
Okay, so say you're married and not fully divorced yet. Okay, there's a lot of controversy as to should you date yet. Okay, I went to my priest when I went through it. I went to my attorney, divorce attorney, and because I went straight for the divorce, I was allowed to date. Okay, there are many people that say you're separated, you're still married. Okay, so I'm certainly not going to say one is right over the other. It depends upon the person. Now,
or mutually agreed upon, right? Both parties can agree upon their own internal decisions.
So if someone is dating someone, let's just say a two-timer, okay, that means typically, not all the time, he could just have two different girlfriends at the same time, or vice versa. A girl could, okay? But what we've been seeing is it happens a lot more with men. So say if it is because someone is recently separated, that's the one that's a little bit of more of a red flag. So keep that in mind. If you're meeting someone and he or she is not fully divorced yet, then you know that person could have a girlfriend. Let's just talk about it as it's a guy, just to make it easier.
Okay. That's your first red flag. They're still married.
Yes.
They're not being clear.
Yeah, so they're not divorced, so they're still married. Now they're dating someone. Okay, so they are two-timing their spouse. They're not divorced yet. Now, many times they're living with each other. We do not accept people like that into our program. So many people try to get in when they're at that level and they'll say, oh, but we don't sleep in the same rooms. We don't sleep in the same floor. There's all these different excuses and just want to scream, yes, so
I mean,
come
think of it.
back.
If you're both living in the same place, it doesn't necessarily make sense for one to go out on a date to a restaurant, the other one, and all of a sudden they're bringing other parties home. And what do you expect to happen? Come on.
Exactly.
Maybe you're
So,
realistic here.
so those are two timers, and it's
But
very
by the way, let's add to this though. However, Maureen, we have seen plenty of times in which we've said, give it some time or that to wait, and to which either the male or then female would obviously then separate, leave, and then come to us, and then we would take them on as a client. So you did forget
yeah,
that last part.
yes,
We told
because
them, wait, just to wait. And
Mhm.
when, again, once things end up changing, once circumstances improve, then we could take them on as a client.
Right, because here everyone is safe. All these pitfalls or bad situations can be avoided by coming to a private upscale matchmaker and meeting with them, and I'm doing a screening process. So a two-timer can't get in. Now, recently, what we have seen, it's called three-timers. Now, clearly and obvious. Did you notice that just went off?
Yeah, there you go. There's your sign.
Did you?
Yeah, there you go.
It just totally went off. Oh my gosh. Wow, Mom. Wow. Well, I'm certainly not saying it happened to me, but I coined the phrase. So that's it. I've coined the phrase that there's something going around rampant now, and these, we're going to say they're men. They're three-timers. Now, what that means is they're still not divorced yet. They're dating someone. So they really are two-timing their wives because they're not legally divorced.
Separated or divorced. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're two-timers, but then there's someone else they have. So now we're going to talk a little bit more about this because we've had
So
a
let's
lot
make
of,
it clear. They're going through divorce, but they're not legally separated. Then
yes,
two, they're dating somebody at the same time, right? So then we got two.
as not
But
only
now,
their wife, but
but now
they're
third.
dating someone and then they're dating someone else.
So
So
there
they're
could
not
actually
two
be
timers.
there
They're
could
three
actually be,
timers.
but there could actually be a fourth timer or a fifth timer.
There could, but that's not what we're seeing. Thank God.
That's a
Because
whole different level, right?
I thank God, and I better never see that, seriously. But from what I have seen recently, this three-timer situation, it's frightening
And
because
also, I think one thing to make clear on this kind of a statement also, so again, we're saying three timers, but again, the individual is basically claiming that the relationships that they have is solely exclusive, right?
of
So that's the
course,
other part. They're not admitting that
who
they're then
else,
dating other
who
people.
else would
Everything
be
is
doing
agreed.
that? Oh yeah, I have two girlfriends. Okay.
Just to make it clear, that's how this new term
So
works out.
now think about something because you brought it up a little bit earlier than what I was going to do. But since you did bring it up, you would almost think that's impossible because it would be too easy for those two girls, right, to not find out about each other. It's going to be easy. They will know about each other. So this three-timer, which is now coined, okay? This three-timer, what they have to do is pit one girl against the other so that when they get caught, and they will millions of times, they will just tell A, something about B, but they tell B the same lie to A. Think about that.
I think in
Of
general, once you have people that are lying, I mean, again, there's only so many times you could actually lie before the truth eventually
yes,
unfolds itself. So that's a
everyone
big key factor,
does. Yes.
just time.
And again, once it happens, they'll come to me. But now that it's been happening a few times and people are coming to me with this, I'm like, oh my God, okay, we have to set a precedent here. We have to have a name for this. The obvious name is a three-timer, but the dynamics are really frightening because, again, the two girls will meet eventually. So, what's to stop them from being friends? That three-timer has to have them hate each other. So, he's going to say to one horrible things that she does, and they're not true. And he's going to say to her horrible things about her.
So
So,
that's about the person that they're getting a divorce with, or that's the other second
nope,
person?
that's not even counted. Okay, so that's why it's called a three-timer, because it is quite common.
So I guess
that
the
they do that
issue
against
comes
the
up
wife.
when the other two then find out about each other. That's the problem.
Yes, see, that's what happens. So if the two find out about each other, and if we don't help people fix this, what happens is it's easy for the guy because he's like, "Oh, there's that crazy girl. You know, she goes and she does this, that, and the other thing. So then when she meets her, she doesn't like her. And then when she meets her, she's not going to like her because of all the crazy things that she did. But all like you said before, there's only so many lies that you can get away with. So what we've noticed too is there's a certain, I'm certainly not going to say a diagnosis, but, being a former pharmaceutical rep, there are some red flags to look out for to find someone like this. But
So there's definitely a lot of them.
there are a lot of guys now doing this three-timer approach. And they lack empathy. Okay. They have a problem caring for people and loving people. Because when you do care about someone and you do love them, you would never do that. You would never lie and make up stories and tell that to the other person. And then what we've been seeing is those same lies and same stories. He said it about the other person too.
I
So
think the big question is to wonder why again, how the three-timer situation actually comes to fruition, right? One party finds out about the other, then there's a confrontation. At that point in time, if two parties found out about each other, you already know that there's kind of an issue. So obviously that's the first big red flag, right? So now it
yes,
comes down to who's saying the truth, and then it's up to you to decide how far you want to get yourself involved with
right.
the entire dynamics of it.
Hence the title of today's Friday Facebook Live is
Well, three-timers, that's it. Well, for the new keyword. So yeah.
and also, wasn't it also, who do you believe? Your boyfriend or your boyfriend's ex-girlfriend? Right? Didn't we make that the title?
Yeah. Well, we have to update it after this because we didn't want to put that in at the very start. Again, it was supposed to be a unrevealed key
Yes,
phrase.
true. Because this is going to be huge now that I've blown the lid off this. I put a call into my PR guy, and he wants in. So you're going to hear a lot about it. And the one thing to look for to find it is, like I said before, it's going to be a person who it's hard for them to show emotion, to show love, to show grief. Because if a person is a loving, kind person, they're not going to be capable. Then a second way that you could notice it is if the person isn't, let's just say, the best looking guy in the room. Because when we're talking about narcissists, okay, when I disqualify narcissists, they are always the best looking guy that came in that day, except for Jason, of course. But
Already taken.
but the narcissists tend to be the best looking guys, the most successful guys. These guys
It's
are
a mix
not.
of ego too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are these guys that you look at them and they're constantly saying, "What are you doing with me? You're so much better than me." That's a red flag too, because we all want to be with someone confident. So if someone does that, that is not confident whatsoever. But
Well, unbeknownst to the other party, though, that's still also bringing them closer, right? Again, there's a lot of people that want to take care of people that have that helping attitude. So you kind of get
the
rubbed
givers.
back into it, right? So you kind of get sucked
Yep.
back into the mentality that they have. Again, it's kind of like the fisher in a fish.
Yeah.
He's got you reeled in. He keeps bringing you back.
And remember, opposites attract, but they're the worst things for us. So what they do is they target the givers. So those two women, and probably their wives, the three timers, but specifically those two women are kind, nice givers. They tend to be the takers. So if you're dating someone and you notice he's not really that giving, he doesn't bring home flowers once a week. And let's face it, how hard is it for anyone to pick up a $7 thing of flowers when he's on his way home once a week in supermarkets? It's easy. Anywhere you go nowadays, you could find those flowers and they're beautiful. But a taker doesn't think like that, because it's not about her or her, because he's a three-timer. It's about him. And he wants to know, what are those two going to do for him? Because clearly those two serve two different needs for the three-timer. Now, of course, those needs can be different. There's certainly not going to be, a definite that she provides this, she provides that. In their minds, they're going to see two people that are the same because they're both givers, which is why they're attracting these takers.
Well, it's predatory. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're with someone and you realize, wow, I'm the only one giving, and, figure out, what are you giving? Are you the type that you're kind? So you're, say, helping someone decorate the house? That's a wonderful thing. That should be a guy that's bragging to all of his friends. My girl's amazing. I'm working all the time, and when I come home, boy, the place looks better and better with all the beautiful things that are there.
I'd say that's definitely another red flag, though, right? So if one party is helping out one person, and an example of furnishing the other person's house, right?
Yeah.
But then if they're also not inviting the other third timer over at any single point in time, that's also a red flag. If they're not introducing you to the family, if they're not bringing you to their own place, and especially depending on the actual duration of that relationship,
Mm-hmm.
hello, there's a reason why they're not bringing it back to their place, because the second timer is then there.
Exactly.
So that's kind of obvious.
So, this has just gotten so huge now that we need to make people aware of it when you're finding someone on your own, because it's not going to happen here. No guy who is a 3-timer is going to be able to give me money so I can scrutinize this personality and find someone compatible to him. Because first of all of our 3,000 clients on Long Island, we're all everyone, we're all givers. So, you know, if
We all
a
got
taker,
we all have our tips to avoid these types of people. That's it.
yes,
We don't allow them
because
within a
they,
whole inner circle.
yes,
That's it.
because they're going to be
You're
a
not
taker.
trusted, you're out.
Yes, and are you, say you're new to the dating scene for whatever reason, are you going to be able to diagnose someone who is actually a taker? No, because the first month, anyone could be great for the first month. So always remember that. The first month, you're getting that best person. Now, as I have said for 20 something years, it takes 6 months to get to know the real person. If you're very intuitive, or if you've gotten training in maybe psychology, or as a pharmaceutical rep, you learned about the brain, some other
Your average person
capacity.
doesn't always know what to be aware of. That's the problem.
Yes,
That's
yes.
basically what it comes down to. That's it. A lot of people generally are trusting.
Mhm.
They don't always know what to look for, and that's why we're also here to help out.
Yes. So again, we don't do the Friday Facebook Lives typically to get more clients, because we don't need to do that. People know about us, especially on Long Island, that we do the screening process for people, so you don't have to worry about this stuff. But this 3-timer person now, that's the person that people have to watch out for now. And could it be because of after the pandemic, so many people more got divorced, so they're dating more, and they tend to be older because they're already divorced and looking. Now, the other red flag is, with how I was describing their personality, there is many different personality mental disorders that describe someone that doesn't show emotion, and so on. And you might have heard of one of them, which I always forget the name of it, but it reminds me,
Schizoaffective disorder.
yes, it's not schizophrenia, but it's close. It's schizoaffective disorder. Now, a good thing to find out the red flags in a relationship is someone that has this, for some reason, they don't mind telling the girlfriends that they have this, because they're not ashamed of this. They're not embarrassed about it. This gets them out of having to show emotion.
Yeah, that's part of their con. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it all ties in, ladies. So when you have a guy that you're seeing changes in a month, tells you,
I'd say
yeah,
even more frequent than that for sure.
yeah,
Erratic behaviors.
yeah. And
I was gonna
wait
say
a
one of
minute,
the biggest red flags aside from that is also just like on the phone. Everybody has their phones, right? We always walk around with them. At any point in time, if they're actually blocking your number, right? I mean,
that's
that's an
a
issue right
huge
there.
flag.
But if you
We have that
can't,
down. If
I
they
know
block
that's
your phone number, huge red flag, because they can't have you calling in with the other girl there.
so. What I was going to add to this, and this can be a topic for discussion. I know there's going to be some debate on this, but it's okay that you don't necessarily have to open up the phone, go through phone logs, go through text messages. Again, there is a set of privacy and understanding there. But if it already got to that kind of a point, you might actually be wanting to really second guess your overall involvement, not more so about the text or the calls, right? I think that's a bigger issue right there. But if they're actually trying to be hidden, if they're doing stuff on the side, that's another
And
flag.
one of the girls just told me that she had suspected this other girl. And many times she would walk in the room and she would see him on Facebook, and there'd be a picture of her and he'd quickly swipe. And she's like, is that, I don't know, Susie Q? And that happened multiple times. But again, these people,
Oh, they don't care. That's it.
they don't care. That's the best way to put it. They don't care. Their needs are met. Now, again, is it because one person can't complete them because it's so hard for them to feel emotion? I'm not going to agree to that, because that almost gives them an excuse, right? So unless I ever hear a doctor say that, then you're a horrible person for doing this.
I think the
Then,
other red flag we kind of touched upon, but just to add a little bit more to it, again, not just the phone aspect for personal sakes, but we kind of also talked about just like family and friends. A lot of times they want to be secluded. They want to kind of be more introverts.
yep,
And we're not
just like
attacking
the girl.
introverts, but I'm
That's
just
it.
saying in general,
Yes.
if you have your friends,
Yep.
family, if you're preventing or trying not to get others too involved with them, that might also be a reason for that. So, but I will
And
say though, again, I am an introvert. I am. So I am very secluded. I have my own little, I call them acquaintances more than friends, but again, there's only so few that I introduce, again, just because for family, security, privacy, all that kind of stuff. That's just me. But again, if you're meeting the
well,
love of your life, you better damn well introduce everybody. I mean, that's kind of it.
and that's not even a Scorpio trait.
Uh, uh,
There's no laugh on that, because I always tease Jason for being a Scorpio and I'm a Libra. And
we have different beliefs on horoscopes, put it that way.
yes, exactly. But back to something that you were saying, and
Seclusion in general or
oh, yeah.
isolation.
So these people, the three timers, if a big red flag is they don't have friends. Okay. So,
Unless they're gamers and they love video games.
okay, unless they're 12,
Yeah.
please be 20 and younger, but they don't tend to have friends
Asa knows
because
what's up. Asa's following us again.
what? Oh,
Asa.
Asa, how you doing, Asa? I'm like, what are you
Adjoining
saying about my
sign.
ass?
Adjoining signs. I agree.
So, hi, Asa. So, yeah. So, if you're going out with a guy and he does not have friends, that is a red flag. Now, I have some of my friends since, I was 7 years old that we're still friends. That's great. I have some that I, from seventh grade, Debbie, and when I was 16 years old, Mary, and then my college friends, say Mo, work friends. There's just that is a healthy relationship cycle that someone has. As we get older, we meet people from all those different generations. Okay. Generations is the wrong word, but you get what I mean. Someone who can't sustain a friendship except if they're extenuating circumstances. Like a lot of times there's addictions with a three timer. Might be a gambling addiction. Now, he's not going to tell those girls that. He's going to keep that hidden. So now, say it's gambling. Okay. He might have one friend that likes to gamble, or whatever the addiction is, he might be able to have a friend in that addiction. So he's not doing that addiction alone. But that's irregular as well. That's not a healthy person with a healthy lifestyle that is going to bring something to the table to you. So ask yourself when you're meeting someone, does this person bring something to the table? And
Like
if they,
another red flag to make a connection here, and again, just bring some attention to the time frame. But
oh yeah, because I have an appointment.
on a topic of friends and family, um, if you do actually have the opportunity, and I'm saying this again carefully, the opportunity to
Mhm.
actually introduce friends and family to this individual who is again a third timer, you do actually want to start listening to your friends or family members that
Oh
are having an
yes, because
introduction,
they'll notice
because
it before you.
well, it's not necessarily like they may or may not know about it, but they might hear different verbiage or see different signs that you might have taken for granted, or perhaps again just went over your head. So
Which
again, you
again
want to take
would
certain
make what
things.
I said, them notice it before you. Because when we're in this situation, all of us, it's harder for us to see things. So Jason's right. Talk to your family and friends about it and listen to what they say, because all of the last three girls, I think it was, that met three timers, they said to us, when you said this, I thought, you know what? How do you know oh, because it's usually that's an X. Okay. It's not, they can't completely hide you from a person. It's like almost impossible, right? So it's typically, I totally
Well, they're putting
forgot.
all their efforts into the women that they're with or the guys that
Yes.
they're with. That then when the friends and family are there, or during
Yep.
a little interaction, they might let something slip.
Yep.
Caught you.
So, so it is typically, oh, she's my ex. She's insane. She does this, and oh, that's horrible. And then the same story goes to the other person.
Well, you know why, right?
Frightening.
You want me to tell you why? Because again,
Because
it's
it's
much
easier. It's hard to remember a lie. But
well, yeah,
if
it's
you're
hard to
saying
remember a
the
lie.
lie
It's
to both people, it's a lot
easy.
easier to remember.
You only have one thing to remember. Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Pretty simple.
So hopefully, and that's the title of today's Friday Facebook Live. Who do you believe? Your boyfriend or a different girl?
I got
Girls,
another. I got another red flag. You ready for it?
what?
If you're ever with that other person and they call you by that other second timer or third timer's name, mm.
Mm.
Imagine going
Or
out on a date and all of a sudden they
what
call you
they
by that other
do,
person's name.
what they
Oops.
do is a lot of dear. They call you dear. Now,
Because they can't remember
really?
names.
Because
Yeah.
every guy I've ever gone out with, just say hypothetically me, they're not calling me dear. My, my father was calling my mother dear. If someone's calling you a name like that, it's because they don't want to take the chance. They can't remember your name.
Yeah, that's a way different level
So,
there.
ladies, we girls have to stick together. Okay? Guys and boyfriends, they come and go unless here you're compatible, you have chemistry. I keep out the narcissists, the controlling people, and now I keep out the three timers because I know how to at look at them now, and I know how to find them now, and they're not getting in to MTN matchmaking. So
I like that. Another barrier to entry. That's
that's
a added
right.
benefit.
So thank you everyone for tuning in. I know everyone likes to tune in later, but hopefully with this major subject, you could really just keep an eye open, and it's okay to think, I never thought of a matchmaker before. But you know what? How much is it worth for you to do hours and hours of work on a guy or girl to see if they pass the screening process, then if they're compatible in three ways, and then they have five must haves? That would take a client so many hours.
Well,
And then
I would
where are you going
also,
to find
I
them?
would also just add in on a professional side of things. Your average person isn't going to go on their first date and ask or then try to screen their date. I mean, that might
Right. Yes.
end
Right.
things in an interesting way.
Right.
Whereas
And
we're able to do
again,
that on a professional level.
and just let me just remind people, because for years, when I first learned about narcissism and I was married to that, my ex was very good looking. Okay. So it's hard to look for red flags when someone is so good looking. But with
You
this
get blinded.
third timer, it's trickier because they're not that good looking. Okay. But they're saying things over the top that you are like, oh my God, like maybe it's better to be with someone not that good looking because they're giving you more compliments than the guy I was just going out with who's gorgeous and maybe did 50% of those compliments. So,
Sounds like that's a connection to the prior video we did on love bombing. So definitely, if you have an
yeah,
opportunity, check us out on YouTube, also the website. But
yes,
watch your prior videos. But love bombing basically kind of starts out or could possibly get you involved with a third timer. So definitely watch that and see that connection there.
yes. So that is never happening here because men are giving me money to
And
be
women,
screened. And what?
all clients, all
Yeah.
clients are on the same
All,
level field, all the same
yes.
playing field. That's it.
Yes. So if a third timer comes in, they're going to be like, oh, whoa, this is way too much trouble. Wait, that's way too much money. I can go out and even use my profession, whatever it is. I'm an
Well,
attorney. I'm going to date my clients. Guess what, attorneys? You're not allowed to do that.
I'd also say
They'll
on an
do it
internal level,
anyway.
I would say on an internal level, as the matchmaker, we're providing the matches from the internal pool. So we also wouldn't create any type of situation where there would be a third timer. Put it that way.
Yes.
That's the other
Yeah.
big point. So
So again, we all love what we do here. We're sorry the rest of the team couldn't follow in, but we have a lot of great new clients that I've been taking on, and wow, they are beautiful, both inside and out. They're funny, and also remember,
we've got the
so-
complete packages. Put it that way.
yes, and I'm going to be back on Long Island next week again. So,
Thursday, right? Yeah.
um, Thursday, I
Wednesday or
have
Thursday.
the secret celebrity charity event where I can't say who it is, but my favorite actor now that's not dead, because a lot of my favorite actors and so on, they die. God, that's awful. So awful. I'm sorry.
You got some
Sorry.
new friend. You got to look at some new actors at this point.
I better start liking some of the young ones.
All right, we're a
All
little bit
right.
over the time frame too. So I'll remind
Okay.
everybody,
Everybody.
hit that like button, subscribe. Again,
Yes.
if you are on Long Island, check out the 15th annual Over 50 Fair and come by and visit Maureen as well at the Love Lounge, right?
Yes, and you're
Again,
going to be meeting Margaret. Everybody loves Margaret. And you're going to be meeting from MTN Matchmaking Myrtle Beach. You're going to be meeting Natalie. So we're going to have lots of fun.
and that's going to be on the first day of fall, so September 22nd from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. at the Huntington Hilton, which is in Melville. So it's
Yes.
actually right near where the office is, where I am right now. All right,
Yes.
everybody, hit that
Okay.
like button, subscribe. We'll see you next week. Adios.
Okay. Bye.